Greetings, divine mirrors. Sacred, awakening, remembering, gods and goddesses, one and all. Thank you for showing up. This is the 5th episode of my experimental pilot project, Voices of the Global Awakening, Tuesdays with TES. And it is a perfectly imperfect expression that is wanting to come through me, that Spirit is wanting to use me for, to invoke the divinity in all of us. And as the title of it is Voices of the Global Awakening, I am on the team, as many of you are, to support humanity in remembering the truth of who we really are. And so today's episode is on self-liberation. And ultimately, each of us are on our own journey. And though it is said that evolution is a team sport, we each are facing our own challenges. And even though on an archetypal level there are commonalities, we all have to go through the experience, take all the lessons. There really are no shortcuts, because it's just like it's called Schoolhouse Earth, and there is so much that we're here to learn on our soul's journey that we may get a glimpse of, may have some inkling of what that is. But ultimately, we are each, as a girlfriend of mine likes to say, on our own mat. And the best we can do is share with one another from our experience, in the hopes that we can offer some perspective that can create more spaciousness and sense of freedom and sense of ease. So, so part of that for me is the willingness to show up here without being scripted. So I'm unscripted and I'm unrehearsed, and just committed to being authentically myself and being where I'm at in terms of my technology and my experience level at producing such things. But we're just going to make it up as we go along, and trust that by doing so that I will potentially be a source of inspiration to encourage you to step past your own stories in your head that suggest who am I to, and go ahead and give yourself permission to do that. Another friend of mine likes to say that she's a permissionary, and I adopt that for myself. I'm a permissionary as well. So my invocation, my intention is to get out of my own way, whatever shyness, whatever self-consciousness, whatever awkwardness, and to simply allow myself to be a vessel for Source to expand consciousness. And that is my aim and my goal. And so on this topic of self-liberation from my own journey, what I have come to believe is that it is imperative for us to get in our own energy. And by that, what I mean is that we consciously choose to disengage from being overly united with other people, overly social, to really cultivate some alone time so that we could hear ourselves think and examine the quality of our own thoughts and our own beliefs. And when we do that, hey Mark, welcome, and welcome Leah. Nice to see both of you, and you know each other. How cool. That when we do that, we can take full responsibility for the thoughts that are determining the quality of our experience. And if we're not liking something that we're thinking, we have the ability to question it, to examine it, to choose to replace it, just like replacing software in a computer. And by doing that, it's like, if we think of ourselves as a programmable supercomputer, then we have the power within our own hands to recreate our own experience and our own relationship with existence. So, for example, to realize, just recently I had this realization that on an unconscious or subconscious level, that I had been in a fight with existence for my whole life. And that may be this whole incarnation, and it may be other incarnations that I came into this life with this, which is why I chose the particular point of entry that I did. And so it's like, if I take responsibility to say that I'm the common denominator in all of my experiences, and I'm not enjoying my experience, because it's like every time I turn around, here it is again. Here's this disappointment. Here's this heartbreak. Here is this disrespect. Here's this dishonor, or whatever it might be that may be my experience, that feels so real and so true to me. And on a certain level, it's like, I'm a good person. What do I do? What did I do to deserve this? Why am I having this experience? And so it's like, it requires, like, it's like microsurgery to get inside the psyche and to really go, what is going on here? And is this what I want? And if it's not what I want, then to actively seek to change it. Well, what do I want? Well, I want to be in a harmonious relationship with life. And I expect to get more results that way, and it's going to feel better in my heart, and it's going to feel better in my engagement. And so rather than being cynical, I can choose to feel grateful. I can choose to feel impressed with all the varieties of the characters that our benevolent Creator has conceived and created with such meticulous uniqueness, each and every one of us. And just like, going back to the acting metaphor that I like to use, it's like you see Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs, and you hate his character, but from an actor's standpoint, marvel at the character, that this character that was created. And so by getting alone, by getting in our own energy, we can notice the things in our belief system that we are not enjoying about our experience. And because this is a self-fulfilling biofeedback loop that we are existing in, that by choosing to reprogram ourselves, we can very quickly see a change in the biofeedback that we're getting from the field. And I see Anthony has joined us. Welcome. Nice to have you back here. And if this is your first time here, I want to let you know that this is an absolutely interactive experience. And I don't pretend to have all the answers. I'm just one voice with one perspective, and you are other voices with other perspectives. And while at certain times I do have and intend to continue to have more and more pre-planned guests, people whose voices I admire and I really want to hear from, I also recognize that each and every one of you is the beloved in disguise, and that we all have a piece of the puzzle. And at any point that you would like to come on here with me, if you're on a cell phone, you've got a little icon at the bottom of your screen which asks for permission to join the live stream, and I would certainly love to have you, because when two or more are gathered, the conversation is infinitely livelier. Happy Tuesday to you too. Yay, yay. So I was going to start with this rap of mine called How to Be a Diva, because under the theme of self-liberation, I really want to encourage everyone to rejoice in the uniqueness of the character that we each get to play. And rather than lament and curse our character, to come to a place of fully embracing it Yeah, I got you. You got you. Yeah, Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, because we get to choose. So this is a little rap called How to Be a Diva. To be a diva, become the diva, the star of your own life show. Define yourself, refine yourself, unmask the you know. To be a diva, unleash the diva that lives inside your skin. Appoint yourself, anoint yourself, you make the rules, you win. No one owns you, no one can, you're good with God, you're free. The power flows to the one who knows their own divinity. To be a diva, embrace the diva and claim your right to be. The way you are is the way you are, you're perfect naturally. The diva does, the diva feels, no more, no less. We live out proud, might shock the crowd with pure finesse. The diva says what the diva thinks, no bones about. The diva gets what the diva needs, or else look out. To be a diva, present the diva and let her show her face. For goddess rules, her power fuels time, energy, and space. Time, energy, and space. Time, energy, and space. So time, energy, space is one of the acronyms for my name, TES. Say yes to TES. Another is trust every second. Another is transcendent ecstatic Shakti. Another is the transparent essential self. And so I am your mirror, and I am simply here to reflect clearly to you the truth of your own divinity, the truth of your own miraculousness, the truth of your own sacredness, the truth of your own worthiness and entitlement to celebrate who you are and not try to fit in and not try to be like anyone else, and that your voice and that your perspective is valuable and needed. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have been created to be the you that you are. Welcome, Bella. Nice to see you. So I just announced that I am open to receiving guests to be in conversation with, and I invite any of you to click your little button in order to come on and speak with me. So yeah, that's the thing. It's like we need to give ourselves permission to get out of our own way and to show up and to use our voice and offer our perspective, because when we do that, we contribute to the expansion of consciousness, and we offer one another ways of looking at things that can help us transcend our own suffering, because the reason that we suffer is because of the thoughts that we're thinking in our heads about our experience. So when we give ourselves the spiritual reality check, as I like to call it, to go, wait a second. Despite my circumstances, I feel so blessed to get to exist. And if I can bring myself back there to that place where I am blessed to exist, then it's like I'm wiping the slate clean, and I can stand in that vibrational field, and I can begin to attract from a place of gratitude rather than a place of resentment, rather than a place of despair, rather than a place of fear, rather than from a place of depression. It's interesting because our point of entry and our life experiences cause us to shape our characters in particular ways, and then we magnetize to us. Like, interestingly, I assisted in the preparation of a big gathering yesterday, and toward the end of the gathering, this woman came up to me and she said, Tess, would you please pray for me? And it kind of caught me off guard, because I didn't know what it was about me that inspired her to choose me as somebody to pray for her, other than that I did the blessing on the food. But I found myself doing it, and And we're all mirrors for each other. We're all in the presence of the divine all the time, each and every one of us. And if we hold ourselves and one another at that level of sacredness, then we all can be called into service in a moment and evoke that level of knowing and that level of support for another human being. And in fact, at the end of the gathering, after the majority of the guests left, a handful of people were spending the night. I went to bed so late, and as soon as I got into bed, I looked at the messages on my phone, and there was a voice message from someone that was a mutual friend of someone else that I knew who had gone through an extremely difficult time that was very scary for him and very scary for the people who knew him a number of months ago. And this person reached out to me and said, we're worried about this person again. He's threatened to slit his wrists. And I know you were so helpful last time. I wanted to see if you're pretty close to his town. He's about 100 miles away from me, and either you could reach him or you might know somebody who could. And every moment it's like the thing about putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first. And I have astonishingly been exposed to so much transition in the last 2 years. So many dear people to me leaving the planet in the past 2 years, and then in the past 2 months, and then in the past 2 weeks, and even as recently as a few hours ago today, somebody else made their transition. So when I got this message about this guy last night, and it was so late and I was so tired, and on the one hand it's like, is it self-loving and is it self-honoring of me to get involved in this at this point? Because it almost had this feeling of like the boy who cried wolf kind of a thing. And I have been close to enough people who have taken their lives at this point that I have this sense that if somebody's intent upon doing it, there's really nothing that anyone else can do. It's their soul's journey, and there has to come this point of letting go. And at the same time, it's like, well, what if I can say one thing that may, talk him down off the ledge? And so instead of contacting the person that this person suggested I talk to, who may know more, I decided to reach out to this friend directly on a messenger audio chat. And it was super late at night, and he picked up the phone, and I said, so-and-so reached out to me, and he said, oh, and I said, may we have a really transparent conversation? And he said, yes. And we proceeded to talk for an hour, and I feel like it was the most interesting, deep, exalted conversation that I've ever had with another human being. It was so intelligent, and it was so straightforward, and there was no fear and there was no drama in it, and it was simply to hold compassionate space and ask questions and offer my own perspective on things, and to listen to where he was coming from. Gio, I can relate. I lost 2 siblings in the past 3 years. It's hard to process. Yeah, it is hard. And at the same time, it's like everybody is a teacher, and everybody is a mirror, and everybody's journey is giving us an opportunity to look at something in ourselves about where we're standing and what we are believing about life and the world and what comes after this life. And I'm contending. I'm in a place of contention right now. Is contention the word I'm looking for? That our benevolent creator, the overarching intelligence that conceived us, designed us, breathed life into us, animated us, and is the source of our sustenance, unlike the placebo things that we believe in, such as food and money, but there's actually only one source of our sustenance. And if we are in gratitude for the gift and the miracle of our own existence, if we're in touch with it, my suspicion is that we can stay here indefinitely. If we are dissatisfied with our life experience, if we are judging it as wrong and not what it should be, and we are criticizing it and we are cursing it, I believe that that benevolent intelligence will find a way to assist us in exiting this dimension. And since we don't really know what happens after we leave here, but this feels like a school, it seems that we graduate and move on to another dimension with another whole set of learnings. But in the meantime, I would say that if I can support somebody, and by the end of this conversation, I said, can we, can we trust that you're planning to stick around for a while? If it's in your hands and it's in your power. And he said yes. And so it's kind of like I got off the phone feeling like, well, if I offered enough alternative thought to the way this person had been thinking, and he is choosing to stay, then I feel like I did something good. But at the same time, I started to ask myself, what is my role? What is my role? Why did I incarnate with the set of circumstances that I had in order to hold space and magnetize so many people with so many really dire circumstances that are really suffering at such a level of despair, and I get to be witness to their experience, and in a case by case basis get to observe, is there something that I can do here? Is there nothing that I can do here? But at the same time, it's like coming to a place of loving my own character, coming to a place of feeling grateful that I get to be me. I get to be the one who, in the face of all this tragedy and all this heartbreak, I'm still grateful to be here. I'm still grateful to be me. So ultimately, it's all about making peace with the mystery, dancing with the mystery, becoming incredibly grateful for every breath that we get to take, to really get in touch with the preciousness of this unknowable dream play that we are all characters in. And if this person said to me that we are no, it wasn't this person, it was somebody else that was at the party last night, that we are on a warring planet, and the celestials from other realms can observe us, but they can't intervene until we get it, until we figure it out for ourselves, that the only way out of the suffering that we have created for ourselves is through gratitude and cooperation and compassion, and holding loving space for ourselves and one another, and shifting to that place where it's like, regardless of our circumstances, we are so fortunate and blessed to get to be here, to get to be in these bodies and these forms, and get to engage with one another. And that is our lesson. And, until we get that, we may continue to kill ourselves or each other, or manifest dis-ease in the body in order to have the excuse to take ourselves out. So it's complex and it's deep. And if you can look at it as a scientist, as an explorer, with a sense of fascination and curiosity rather than dread and fear and apprehension. There's just so much more spaciousness. Gratitude and compassion. Welcome, Lion, Samara, Aloha, Juliana, Bella Grace, Anthony, Leah, Mark. So good to have all of you here with me. Come on, don't be shy. Somebody wants to come on here and chat with me. I know somebody wants to come on and chat. And if you need help getting on, just type it in the comments and I will help. But I don't want to put anybody on the spot and reach out to you if you don't want to be here. But you're going to make my life so much easier. Do you think it's easy for me to just sit here and talk to my own reflection for 2 hours? It's a challenge, which I'm actually enjoying. It's been quite life-giving for me to be doing this, and I'm doing it because it's a community service, and I really want to hold a space for transcendent conversation and dialogue for all of us to get to expand and feel better in our divine mortal experience that we're having here. So let me take a little look at my list. Let me take a look at my list. I'll do a song for you until one of you wants to come on here. We are reaching critical mass. Time to climb to the head of the class. Time to release all the chains of the past. To return back to heaven at last. We have come to the end of the game. We recall all are one and the same. We remove every ball, every chain. Time to dance and to let freedom reign. Prophecy, come through me. Now's the time to set us free. Set us free. Prophecy, God is you and you are me. There is no one out there to fear. We are mirrors reflecting, my dears. See yourselves in each other so clear. Past the stories and costumes and fears. Rise up, brothers and sisters, return. To our oneness, our godness, return. Turn and face one another and see. 'Neath our masks, we are one entity. Prophecy, come through me. Now's the time to set us free. Set us free. Prophecy, God is you and you are me. God is you and you are me. What else? What else do we have here? Messages. Oh, it's just going over the same thing. Lion, I missed, wait, I lost it. I missed the beginning, but I can pop nothing but time over here. Hello, Goddess. Anna, Leah, sounds good, Tess, shining light. Thank you so much. So was that you, Lion, saying yes, you want to come on? I'm going to assume that you said that, so I'm going to invite you. There's no time but the present. Got my drum out and finished the song. You're going to Okay, I'm calling you in. I'm calling you in. Yay!
Yay! I don't know if I have all the
Welcome.
technology. Can you hear me?
I I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Cool. Yeah.
Yay.
I got my drum out. How does it sound?
It sounds good, and then there's like a little bit of like an after-y,
Yeah.
feedbacky sort of a thing. But yeah, thank you for showing up. Good to have you here.
Yeah. I finished your song
Yeah.
with the drum.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's okay for you to show up whenever you show up. So you didn't miss anything other than the announcement of the topic for today, which is self-liberation. So I certainly invite you to riff on that, like what that means for you and your own journey of sort of wa waking up to the box and stepping out of the box.
Oh, wow. What did I get myself into? That's 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 so perfect for right now, what's happening in my life. Yeah, just self-liberation, letting go of the way that people see me, um, with compassion. Everybody understands where I'm at, and not everybody is where I am, and but also being okay that it's okay to be right where I am, and yeah, my self-liberation and my freedom and just exactly where I am is so important, and it's such a gift I've realized to the people that are available to receive it. And some people are just
I just want to
not
interrupt you for a
available.
second. Do you think you can maybe find a little bit different location because you're cutting in and out. So I wonder if your signal is quite
Yeah,
strong enough.
yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi, so it might not work well, so I might tap out if it doesn't. Is that any better?
Uh, maybe. Keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm over in Lemon Grove area and the reception is really terrible here, so I'm on
Now you're
Wi-Fi and it
freezing.
doesn't. Oh, okay. I'm gonna check out and just listen to you
Uh,
because you're coming through loud and clear. Let's see.
the sound is not too bad over here. So you can hear her? Okay, I appreciate the feedback because I want it to be, I want your transmission to be received.
Yeah, for sure. It's so
Okay.
annoying when it can't be.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, you touched on something about people not getting you, and I think that where I'm at in terms of really dropping in with the self-liberation piece is that um, we're ultimately each on our own journey, and so consequently, it's really not necessarily about being understood by anybody else or being approved of by anyone else. It's about being true to ourselves, amusing ourselves, satisfying ourselves, doing things that enliven us and enrich us. And I'm finding the more willing I am to just honor that, the more I'm being approved of and appreciated, as opposed to when I'm like looking for the approval and not getting it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a conversation with a friend today that got back from Burning Man, and we reflected on how we've both noticed that it's like that. It's like, yeah, not going out and looking for the things that you want or that you think that you should have, but just feeling into your body and being open to, like you said, the mystery of where am I supposed to go? Like I went for a walk And I I'm at a very pivotal point where I really don't know what the next day, and then on my walk I really realized I literally don't know if I'm going to go home or I'm going to go this way, but let's just keep walking till I get to the end
Mm-hmm.
of where the fork turns, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably find the answer there. And and I did. And so just surrendering to that mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so courageous. It's like we're so programmed to stay inside of the predictable, inside of the safety zone, to create these schedules and commitments and structures around us that keep us in a very small bubble. And when you break the bubble and you're just willing to stand in the present, in the unknown, and be open to being pulled, being compelled into a particular direction. I remember when I was studying acting in New York, there's a particular training method called Meisner technique, and our teacher would say to us, "Do nothing until something impulses you to do it." So that the impulse is arising, it's not coming from the mind, it's coming from a much more instinctual place, and then our actions are going to be more true and more truly aligned to our particular soul signature than if we're just doing the things that we've been told a decent contributing member of society does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just it's more of like a gut, like what is my gut telling me? Because yeah, I think we flow up and down into the different chakras, and I think sometimes I'm asked to, the answers reside more in my heart, and some of the times they're more in my sacral chakra, and um, yeah, but hmm, I definitely am feeling a lot.
The screen has frozen, Lion. I don't know whether you can hear me or not. And I'm noticing a message from Leah saying, I'm not hearing any sound, so wondering if it's just me. So I feel like just for the sake of the quality of the broadcast and that people,
Yeah,
get to,
yeah,
yeah. So I'm going to let you go for now, but I would love you to come back some other time when you're in a more stable location. Okay. Okay, it's just me back here with you all. Leah or somebody, is the sound fine now um, that Lion has jumped off? Can I get some feedback from anybody? Hello, hello. Okay, Cheryl's on. Okay, so I don't know. I'm hoping that you're still with me. And just going to take a moment. Sound is great. Thank you very much. I'll come back on another one when I'm in OB. Sounds good. I'd love to have you back, Lion. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So it was well, this is good feedback. That's why I'm calling it an experiment, because it's not clear what all affects the quality of the broadcast. And so if I have somebody on who's not in a good sound location and it impacts your ability to hear any of it, that is important information. You're still here and can hear. Hear, 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 hear. Okay. Okay, let's just take a moment and take a deep breath and release sound. Ah! It's really important to move energy. Would totally love to share sometime about self-liberation. Would you like to come on now, Leah? I'm happy to have you come on. Um, you can let me know. But in the meantime, what I was starting to say was that Okay. It's really important to move energy. And by that, what I mean is if you feel stuck, if you feel stagnant, if you feel depressed, and you don't know what to do, and so you're kind of lethargic, it's really important to make yourself move. And whatever that looks like, if it's to get up and dance or do jumping jacks or go and take a walk or paint or write a poem or put on music and sing, doing something to change your state will get the energy flowing again. And from that place, more clarity and more inspiration can come. So I'm saying this to myself as much as anyone because I'm just as capable of getting depressed and feeling like I don't want to do anything. Leah saying, oh no, no sound again. We'll try again a different way. Okay, so I'm going to remove you and you can come back in. Maybe I will pull you back in. Maybe that will be better. Thank you for bearing with the technology piece. Invite, add. Okay. Trying it again. How's
Hi,
that?
I think this is going to work. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Excellent.
wonderful thing.
Hi, Leah.
We can hear each other. It's all great. Hey, listen. Hi, everybody,
Okay,
and hi, Tess. And
perfect.
thank you for such a great weekend and, lots to think about and lots of wonderful togetherness and stuff. And self-liberation to me is one of the great topics of all because I really feel that suffering lies in the attachment, right? Suffering, it's all about the attachment to our expectations. And liberation is saying goodbye to any expectations or any attachment for that matter, right? And myself today in the midst of something that was just so unexpected, beautiful weekend, wonderful gathering. And then someone just lovingly had said something really off the cuff that was a little bit of a criticism. And I found myself right back in the suffering, right? Am I really self liberated if I'm still suffering if someone has a small criticism? Do you know what I mean? And it goes all the way back to family of origin. It
Mm-hmm.
goes back to childhood. It goes back to, when you're 2, 3, 4 years old, nobody's sitting around saying, you're such a bad kid and go get a resume or something like that. You have no filters. And so things you absorb them, right? And that's when you're truly liberated, is when you're
Mm-hmm.
a young child. It's like you don't know any better. And so that was what was coming up when I saw your topic of self-realization. And the fun part for me is back having a yoga transformation in 1994. That is when I first saw the Maya, the delusion of anything that's not the fact that you're full, whole, and complete. That's really how I walk in the world. But when I find myself having suffering or being criticized or whatever it is, it's like, ugh. I come back to the attachment to these thoughts that I
Mm-hmm.
try
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
diligently to meet them where they are and shift them. And this person wasn't even criticizing me, really. It was just like an observation. Do you know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Mm-hmm.
made with
Mm-hmm.
love. It wasn't even a bad thing. It just, I really am finding, and thank you for listening to this because it's so alive in me. I'm finding myself just catch it, look at it, thank it, and let it go. Right? That's the best we can do. Right? And then from
That
there, we
reminds me of
surround.
that.
Yeah, go ahead.
That reminds me of that metaphor you use about like putting the thought in a boat and floating it down the
Yes.
water. You want to share
Oh, I'd
that?
love to.
You want to?
Absolutely. I'm in my
Yeah.
car, so I'll just put this here. Maybe I can do it with my hands, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
So the
good.
river of thoughts exercise. Thank you, Tess. So the river of
Yeah,
thoughts
you're
is a
welcome.
wonderful thing, and I'll just kind of do it on myself because that was what was happening. Imagine
Perfect.
you're splashing around in the river of thoughts. We're all humans, and they're coming at us a million miles a second, right? And imagine you're sitting on the banks of the river, watching the thoughts go by. So you begin. If you're right or left-handed, you take your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, and you take a scoop of thoughts and you put it right in front of your heart. And the first thought that came up back then, I'll do it a past thought, was, oh boy, this person's criticizing me, right? So if I had been in
Okay.
the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I could have, you point to the thought and you go, thanks thought, this person's criticizing me. thanks for showing up, and let it go, right? Because it's just a thought. Okay, then the next thought is I'm going to be in the present moment now. And my first thought is how happy I am to be on this call with you, right? So you say, thanks, thought, that I'm so happy I'm on this call with you. Thanks for showing up. And then you let that go too, right? And then the final one, I was, oops. So the third thought is like something I really love. Like I love ice cream or something like that. I love you, Tess, because you're such a great inspiration and such a great help at the party this weekend. And you point to that and you go, thanks, thought, that I love you, Tess. Thanks for showing up. And you let that go too. You see, they're all just thoughts. And then you take a deep breath and you let it go. But to just finish this part up, what I will do sometimes with people and maybe with myself is you do the really deep dives. This is what you were referring to. You know, you're deeping all the way down into the river, the sediment, the fishes, the rocks. It's a very heavy thought. You can feel it. It's like a shoulder bit of thought about this criticism. And underneath that thought is something like, I'm not worthy, right? If somebody might be criticizing me, oh, I'm not worthy. That's the thought. It's so heavy. And that's where you put like rose petals on the thought, maybe some incense on the thought, candles, maybe even a picture of yourself at a time, you know, when you're really loving yourself, right? And so then you very nicely put your other arm underneath the thought that I'm not worthy, and you're really bowing to the thought. And this is great. So you say, thanks, thought, that I'm not worthy. I know you think you're helping me, but actually you might be sabotaging me because it's not truth. It's a delusion. So again, thank you so much for showing up. You're thinking you're protecting me, but in fact, I don't need you anymore because I am worthy and I'm full, whole, and complete, and I'm lovable and I love myself. And so with that, you take the whole thought with the arms and all of the incense and the rose petals and everything else, and you gently float it down the river. And you say goodbye and you wave to it and you go, thank you. I'm never seeing you again.
It's really so healing
Right?
and so liberating. It's such such a
It's so
sweet and
liberating.
childlike,
Yeah. So
illustration
doing
that
that makes
it's.
me feel better, you know?
Mhm,
I want to
mhm,
take a breath here
mhm.
and I really want to hum into this. This is where the humming comes in. So deep breath, sitting up tall, and then I'm humming on the exhalation. So
Mm.
and then I have everyone put their left hand on their forehead, the right hand at the base of the skull. So that's where the neck meets. So deep breath with the hum. And then finally on the very top of the head, sacred container, deep breath with the hum. And then bring the left hand to the heart center and the right hand to the belly. One more time, and a deep breath with the hum. And then bringing the hands together, palm to palm. Really bring up the life force and the prana. Really feeling it. And then just bowing forward, thanking your own grace, your own balance, your own liberation. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hey, thank you for letting me do that.
Namaste.
I really
Oh,
needed
you're
it.
so shiny now. You're all
I feel it.
radiant.
I feel it. It's the moving
You're-
of the blockages. I swear to God. You know,
yes,
it's so important. So
yes.
important. And I really
Well, this is
appreciate
what
that.
exactly I was talking about, is that we all have a piece of the puzzle, and our journeys bring us to observations and lessons and techniques that work for us that we can then share with one another and build
Yeah.
each other's tool chest. Yeah, so it's really beautiful.
Thank
Yay.
you. I wish that to everyone, just the
Awesome.
liberation from any negative thinking in whatever way that works for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes. Yeah. So tell a little, before I let you go, tell a little bit about your yoga and your feng shui and all
Oh,
the
sure.
wonderful things
You.
that you offer. Maybe you can put your
Yeah.
contact in there, or have people messenger you. Yeah.
Well, so as Tess knows, I teach a beautiful style of yoga called Rasa Yoga, and it's a sound healing yoga. So we're actually humming in the poses, very similar to what we were just doing, but we're on our back for half of it, on our stomach for half, deep breaths, humming, and then we're actually chanting in the poses. So it's a beautiful style, and Tess has done a class with me and really enjoyed it. And as far as feng shui goes, it's time to up the practice again. I was a feng shui consultant for many years in the Bay Area, but what feng shui is all about is the wind and the water. The wind is the change that you can't see, and the water is change that you can see. And the 9 parts of the Bagua help us come back into balance, whether it's love and relationships, prosperity corner, helpful people corner, one of my favorites. But yeah, I'd love to help anyone with that. And I can put my name in. People know me on this call, but feel free to message me in Facebook. And, I'm just really grateful for you, Tess, because this is a great venue for you to really put things out there that need to be heard. And you're a
Thank you
great
so much.
conduit. So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. I just want to, Lion says, well, she says, adds, and sometimes that boat comes back to port, just means it wants a refill, so I'll send it on its way again with love.
Good one,
Yes,
Lion.
okay.
Good one, Lion.
Yes, yes, yes. All right.
Thank
Blessings, Lion, and blessings, Leah. Thank you for coming
you.
on with me,
My pleasure.
and for being here and sharing your wisdom. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Big hug.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Change to viewer. Yes, say yes to Tess. Oh, well, I hope you all are having fun here hanging out with me. I mean, 2 hours is a big chunk of time and requires a certain amount of chutzpah in this, time is money, fast-paced reality. Get everything done in a 30-second or less soundbite, or else you're going to lose people's attention. And to have the audacity to come on with an unpolished, unprofessional, unprepared, unrehearsed offering for 2 hours once a week and keep going, well, that is a lot of audacity. And the more I step into that audacity, the better time I'm having and the better the reflections I'm getting back. And I am your mirror, and I'm demonstrating it to give you permission to do your own version, whatever that looks like. Leah says, feel free to contact me about Rasa Yoga and Feng Shui. Would love to be of help. And she really would. And she's really unique with both of these offerings. I've known a lot of people who offer Feng Shui, and none of it is anything as in-depth and far-reaching, the wisdom that comes through Leah as it relates to that subject, as well as the Rasa Yoga, is really outstanding. So say yes to Leah. Yippee. So what else? What else? We still have an hour and about 7 minutes, so we're not even quite halfway through yet. So who else wants to discuss self-liberation? Fanny Starchild is on here. Fanny Starchild, welcome. Would you like to come on here and talk with me and maybe offer a song? I would be so honored, Fanny. Would you, could you do that? I'm sure that you have either an already prepared song or an improvised one that you could make up on the spot. Oh, beautiful. I say yes to joy. Yippee yay. Good day with guests. We got Fanny Starchild in the house.
Goodness
Woohoo!
gracious, here I'm alive and I am my beautiful locker. Look at this. We are moving on, moving out, and moving our spirit to the divine. And look at the sky, baby. It's just so fabulous. Can you see?
Well, I see glare, but a little bit I see. Wow! Wow! Look at that cloud formation.
Yeah, it's
Wow!
angelic, it's
It's
divine,
astonishing.
and astonishing.
Yeah. Yeah, pull the phone a little bit further back so I can get your whole beautiful
Now let me
face.
open the
Oh.
door. It's a beauty. What is it going on here? Oh, let me see over here. Ah,
Are you in Canada?
I am in. How come there's a funny light? Hey, here. I am in Canada. I am just back from Salt Spring Island, which is the island of paradise. And I was playing my beautiful, beautiful, joyful song. Let me play it to you, actually. You say I could play you a song.
Okay,
So here you
okay.
go. I'm going to play you
Yes,
the
please. I
beautiful
would
song.
love that. We would love that.
Hi, beautiful people. I love you, Tess. I say yes to
I love you
Tess.
too.
So here I am in my sweet van. And we are traveling with nomads. We are here. We are traveling, being nomadic, and
So
living
speak a little bit on the topic of self-liberation.
self-liberation. Can you believe this? It's like to get rid of all your possession and only keep what keeps you joyful and happy, isn't it? So now I think I'm just about to. Can you hear me, Tess?
Yeah, we're having a little bit of distortion. I don't know how great your
Okay,
signal
so I'm
is.
in the middle. Let me just get my pan, and then I'm gonna come out. It's just because I'm inside my van. I was not expecting to be on, but here I am.
Little spontaneous command performance for the
Here it
divine.
comes. All right, baby. I love you, and thank you for being so spontaneous and fabulous, and of the light, and creating your joy and your own liberation, and
Yes.
being open to talk about it and to be free is just ultimate. So here I come outside. We'll have a better view and a better.
You're giving us such an art film experience with the way your camera is moving. It's like, woo, we're on a ride now.
So here I am. Here I am.
Okay, that sky. Oh,
Oh, it's so amazing. So yesterday I was on South Spring Island and I wrote this song. And it was incredible. So I'm gonna put it.
okay, so it's a brand new
Yeah, it
song.
is. Oh, here you go.
Yeah, that's better.
Oops, I wish I could see a bit like this. Oh, let's put some rocks. Let's rock it, baby. Let's rock it all out. Make my stage with the rocks. How about that, hey? Here we go.
Geo says, I love your French accent. So cute. Fanny,
I'm coming.
your accent is being appreciated.
Thank you for your patience. Oh, here I am. Oh, here we are in the sky with my
Yes.
pen, my Russian pen. It's from
Aha.
Russia.
Russian.
Yeah, and this one is G
Wow.
minor harmonic. And Hoyoshi Akamaya Lele. So this song came upon these people on a land that were really trying to keep their peace with their differences and they had a big moment that morning that it was difficult for them, and me, I'm just coming in to witness all these beautiful wise women that are having difficult time to keep their peace as they're mirroring each other, because we're very strong, and then we're here on the land, and then we mirror, and then that's what I wrote.
Okay.
And they took a break and they came sat beside me, in tranquility, and we all are breathing the birds and this beauty of this land to remind ourselves that we are pure love, pure light. So I will. Here I am in paradise. Here I am in paradise to bridge heaven and earth, to bridge the love on earth. Here I am. Here I am. As we bring the light, the darkness disappear. As we bring the light, the darkness disappear. Here I am in paradise, bridging heaven and earth, bridging love to wherever I go. I am the bridge that sustains our brotherhood, sisterhood, sustain sisterhood, sister, my sister. We are here to love each other, my sisters. We are here to let go of our ego and let God be who we truly are in a loving life. So here I am in paradise, bridging heaven and earth. And as you bring the light, the darkness disappears. So here we are. Here we are. Home in paradise. Home in paradise. Home wherever love is. Yes, where we are in paradise. Yeah, I am bridging heaven on earth, bringing the light, bringing the love, so darkness disappears. Shamama yero, shamama yero, yero le. Remember who you are, sister. I am your mirror. You are me, I am you. And together we create a world of awakening, a world of beauty and grace. As women, oh man, we make peace with one another, with our innermost being. So here I am in paradise. Yambayule. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Acknowledging that the only way that I know to wake up to the truth that we actually are in paradise is to slow down to the point where we can see it and feel it and describe it and sing about it and praise it as you so beautifully and eloquently do and have done for us here today. Thank you, Goddess, for being so tapped in and for being guided by the sacred and being such a stand for it to anchor heaven on earth. I see you.
And so I see you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, blessings to you. I will see you again. What a blessing. Fanny Starchild, if you'd like to put your contact information, your website or whatever in the chat so people can follow you if they feel to, that would be beautiful. Yay. The beloved arises in endless disguises. That just cleared out my entire head, said Leah. Yeah, it's the courage to slow down, the courage to be present to the present and give voice to it is a miracle, is a gift, is a healing for everyone. And it does require courage because we are indoctrinated into constant busyness and accomplishment, which undermines our capacity to feel our connection to Source and all that is. So part of my intention of this experiment is to share at a pace that is downshifted from the dominant pace of our culture, and I believe that if that resonates, we're on the way, we're on the path back to the center of our own being, which is connected to the center of the cosmos. And once we get into that place, no one and no thing can throw us off of that, no matter how they try. No boogeyman can scare us because we are connected to the source of all that is. Geo, Geo, that just cleared out our entire neighborhood. Oh, let it be so. Well, I mean, this is a broadcast into the ethers, and wherever we are the center of existence, and based on the power of our attention. It's like they say, do not underestimate what a single soul can do, and what a community of like-minded people who want to see shift through the power of our intention can co-create. Geo. Yes, yes, what a blessing. Well, who do we still have on here with us that we haven't spoken with yet that might want to come on? Let's take a look. Okay, so far it's the people who've been on already. So I feel to just take a pause and be in the silence with you. If I try to be interesting and entertaining for 2 hours a week, I will quickly burn myself out. If I think that it's me that's doing it. If I allow myself to let my ego step aside and simply be in the power of the presence of the present, here we can co-create magic together. You feel so loved right now. You are loved. You are love. We are love. Be still and know that we are God, Goddess, all that is, masquerading in these miraculous forms we call human or mortal. And if we allow ourselves to drop in to the unfathomable grace of our very being, we are one with the power of all that is. There is no fear here. There is no lack. There is no illusion of escaping time that we are running out of. We are simply here in the eternal present, basking in the sacred miraculousness of our being. I'm going to teach you a little ditty. You can repeat after me. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. Again, I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. One more time. I trust the ease and flow. I trust the ease and flow. I release the need to know. I trust the ease and flow. Whatever you can do to lift yourself up, to shift yourself from mundane thinking to miraculous. Put you in your heart, will put you in gratitude, will put you in your faith solid. And no boogeyman thoughts from the fear matrix can undermine you. It is access to the peace that surpasseth all understanding, which is what we are all after here in Schoolhouse Earth. To become so unshakable in our faith and our connection to Source and claiming it for ourselves. That which is unlike love and unlike light cannot exist in our experience. It is a warrior's path, a warrior of love, a warrior of light. And I wish there was a better word for it than warrior, because it is not a war. It is a stand for peace. It is a stand for being one with existence. And knowing that we were conceived and created with so much love. We are so precious to the consciousness that breathed life into us that we no longer do violence to ourselves. We no longer do harm to ourselves. And once we stop doing it to ourselves, we will stop doing it to one another, because we will recognize the sacredness of each and every vessel that is sharing this journey with us. Mundane to the miraculous. Gio, let me know when you would like to come on. I know you have an announcement to make. Could be now, could be later. Up to you. We are the bringers of the light, Fanny. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We're the Messiah banging at your door. Look in the mirror, see who's watching you. You are the deity you're praying to. I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are one. I am you, you are me, we are faith, we are light, we are peace, we are life, we are mind, we are real, we are truth, we are love, we are God, we are now, we are one. I would like to welcome to the virtual stage my new beloved friend and colleague, Gio Pensonault. Pensonault, he's still got to tell me how to pronounce that, who has beautiful wisdom to share. Oh, search for Gio. Add. Here we go. Couldn't add guest. Well, it's saying you've got technical issues, so I don't know what that's all about, but we will await your ability to join us. I'm amused by how many different ways Leah is finding to spell your name, Gio. Life is so interesting and amusing when we give ourselves permission to just be ourselves and not try to be anything more and not think that we're anything less, but simply show up fully, unapologetically, all our perfect imperfections and all. And try again to invite. Let's try again. Let's see. Add. No, it's not letting me do that. It's not letting me do it. Can you do it from your end? So maybe in the meantime, I'm going to say that in the description for this event, you can find many things. You can find a few different Facebook groups that you may be interested in joining that I conceived and I manage. And you can support my music on Spotify, my musical ministry, and share it. And there are also different cash apps if you felt inspired to make some sort of a financial blessing to this endeavor. That would be much appreciated. And what else do I have on there? I'm looking for all sorts of ways for people to participate and contribute. If you have a topic that you would like to come on and talk about, reach out to me about that. If you have technical skills to help me bring this to the next level of professionalism, I would appreciate that. If you have marketing, promotional skills, all that, at the moment it's a labor of love. There is no budget, but if you believe in the vision, then the money needed, money come. It will happen. And if you would like to do some one-on-one work with me, you can reach out to me and we can have a little exploratory conversation about what that might look like and take it from there. And Gio says he is back and we're going to try again. So hang on. Yes. Success without further ado. Drum roll. Yes, welcome.
Yes. We made it work. We made it work.
We made it
Oh my
work.
gosh! After hearing your friend there with her her sublime drumming and out in the wilderness, holy cow! I don't know if I can even collect my thoughts.
That's what I look for, is the ability to be taken out of my thoughts.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
was. I was
Yay.
completely and entirely. And I was, man, you got to like praise the universe too, because I mean, wasn't it so amazing that, I mean, she's somewhere out in the middle of the wild, but the sound was coming across and the whole experience. I mean, I felt like I was out there in the wilderness with her.
Yay. Awesome.
Ah,
Awesome. Hmm.
well, I'll tell you, your topic today, remind me your topic.
Self-liberation.
Self-liberation. Well, I'll tell you, I can tell you, I can tell you the opposite of it, and I've always been a little resistant to this a little bit because I'll tell you where my jumping off point is. My jumping off point is I believe that whatever we believe is what's true.
I believe that too.
And so that's, you know, when you really go into that, you know, that means that everything is fine, that, you know, everything, you know, and when I say fine, it means like, uh, you know, I mean, if something's not fine, you know, in my world, that what I experience and everything, I do ask myself, like, oh, well, what am I believing, you know, that's making it that way? What am I, you know, what am I giving my energy that's making it that way? And then I choose. And so I think that's a jumping off point. And, you know, Tess, that I come from a kind of a funny place because I definitely come from like a hippie family, all six of us, you know, now only four. We lost two, a brother and a sister. I lost, like, those were the two I said we lost in the last,
Mm.
3 years. But I come from, you know, a tried and true hippie family, and I come from an entrepreneurial family. And every one of us, all six of us, entrepreneurial and, you know, driven in a certain kind of way in our own, I would say like a hillbilly entrepreneurial way. That's what I would say. Because we grew up in a little hillbilly town in central Connecticut. And, you know, we did what we had to do to survive. And so, but we did, you know, we're hillbilly entrepreneurs and, you know, a little bit kind of on the survival mode. You know, my dad was a hobo until he was 30.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Was he already your dad, or was that before he became dad?
That was before he met my mom. And my mom came from a little more stable, but also an immigrant family, an Italian immigrant family. And that side of the family was very driven entrepreneurial and a very successful entrepreneurial. No messing around, no hippies over there. And, you know, the thing that helped me understand my dad better than anything was when I read that Jack Kerouac book, On the Road, because those were the early hippies, were the beatniks. And, you know, they were just like out there exploring consciousness and expansion. But, you know, they did it a lot with alcohol. Jack
Mm-hmm.
Kerouac, he was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, you know, his sad ending. But he kind of opened it up, you know, Dharma Bums. That was another book that
Right.
he wrote. And that's what helped me understand my dad. You know, he was just kind of out there. But, you know, because I guess my mom, and I think he was a little in competition with my grandfather, like, you know, had to show my grandfather, you know, what a hobo could do. Because I think my grandfather really had his doubts about it, you know.
What can a hobo do? I want to
Well, I'll
know.
tell you how he met my mom. This is what a hobo does. Is he showed up in the industrial shop. My mom went to business school, and he shows up in the industrial, you know, manufacturing shop where my mom was, and they had some problems with the electrical, like the motors wouldn't run or something like that. And so they got this problem, you know, something with the electricity. And my dad, I don't know where he figured this out. It's before before I was born, but he decided he was an electrician. and
And so
and
he
he
was.
and so he was. And he fixed the problem, and that's how he met my mom. But and that's kind of how he was a little bit. You know, he figured things out on his own. And one of the things he figured out is he took a correspondence course through these big giant books, taught himself geometry and trigonometry, and became a machinist. All
Wow.
self-taught. All self-taught. No
That's awesome.
education.
No,
Yeah.
no YouTube back then.
No YouTube back then. These big giant books. I remember them. They were like that big. These big giant books. But anyways, that's where I kind of came from. So I'm this funny mix, and I never fully figured out where I fit in the world, because when I was with the hippies, I was a little bit like, I don't really believe this thing about having stuff and things not being a good thing, because I was like, having stuff and things, like, that was always okay to me. And particularly, and you heard me say this before, but I remember being at this UFO conference, and I got the call-in. Seriously, I got the call-in. All these hippies are up on stage. It was an open stage, kind of like this. And they're all talking UFO, this and that, and, and light energy coming through and all that. And I just got the call-in to get up on that stage and say that money is good. Money is okay. There's nothing wrong with money. And it's just okay. It's just about, what kind of intention you bring to it. And, one of the worst intentions to bring to it is that there's a problem with it, because if you bring that intention to it, then, it's not going to be loving on you.
No, you're pushing it away.
You're pushing it away. So I continue to say this, and, more than say it, but, you and I work together, and it's like, if you figure out how to do it, and you figure out how to do what you love, that's kind of my special thing, figuring out what you love to do, and then finding a problem, like my dad did, it was a problem with the electricity, and he knew if he could fix that problem, they'd pay him. And so, that's the thing, is marrying, what we're called to do with something, a problem that needs to be solved, some electrical current that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, go ahead, keep going. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I got to praise you, Tess. I mean, I know that's an unfolding process for you and everything, and that's how it usually goes for all of us until we, figure out that thing we want to focus on. But I mean, I just got to praise you for what you said at the beginning of the live stream about like not being afraid, to lift people up who, are so down that they're thinking about taking their lives. I mean, that's a very special skill. And, I may have I don't know, not really a different belief about it, but I do believe that people's, their thinking can be changed, because, sometimes, like you said, it's like their karma, their destiny, and, there's nothing that we can do. I remember in Lawrence of Arabia, that was one of my favorite ones. I don't know if you remember the scene, like he does save somebody from being, about to be murdered at one point in the Arab tribes, and he saves that person's life. And then sometime later in the movie, destiny comes and there was no saving. And that same person who he thought he had saved, his life was taken away. There was no destiny, there was no getting around that destiny. So I believe that, and I also, just like I said, I gotta praise you for that special skill, because people do get down, and like you said, we all get depressed. I mean, I think that's part of human nature. So,
Yeah.
You get so far down and you want to take your life, but there's many stages along the way. And what you're talking about, get people moving and breathing and singing, that's a gift.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, what you said about, what did you say? How did you put it? What I believe, how did you say it? Well, I believe what I believe, whatever we believe is what
It's what is.
Is what is. And so in terms of solving a problem, I feel like part of what I'm really guided to do is to solve the problem of limiting beliefs and self-defeating beliefs. It's like if a person believes that their life is miserable and not worth living, I would like to offer some thoughts that perhaps will get them to believe something else about the value of their existence. And so it is a self-fulfilling thing. If we believe that our life is terrible, so it will be, and so but it seems like as long as we're still here, as long as we're still breathing, then the cosmos wants us here, and we have, up until our last breath, I believe, the opportunity to turn the ship around, the opportunity to claim uh, gratitude for and recognize ourselves as a miracle. And in that recognition, we stop cursing ourselves. We stop lamenting our bad karma and how unlucky we are, and how much better people have it, and we start giving genuine great thanks for the character that we agreed to play. That we agreed to come here and embody this character, and instead of suffering playing this part, to enjoy the heck out of it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be this one and I'm going to be this way, then I'm really going to be this one and I'm really going to be this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to say, for me, one of the, like, my growing edge, and I feel like, I've moved, through this piece right now, is in the maybe not too distant past, kind of thought that people, maybe did have to be in a certain way, in a way of, let's say, success as I define it kind of way. And, to your point, I believe that people are unique in their own way. And you must already know this. It took me a bit to learn it, to figure that out. Because then you can make space for people like that woman who was doing that singing. Man, was she unique. And she was like, she was so owning it, every bit of it, every bit of her, her traveling, and every bit of it. And that, you just, like, it just shined through. And so, man, that's like another level.
Yes. Yeah. She's very gifted that way. And you are just so attuned to support people in finding their niche and finding their unique place in the world as to who would most benefit from their magic, what they have to offer. And I'm really appreciating you and appreciating working with you, and I'm wanting to give voice to that so that anyone listening, if they're kind of flailing around looking for what that might be, that you would be definitely a person to have a conversation with.
Yeah, yeah, that is
Yeah.
that is my gift. And then I, like, connected to that, and I think we've talked about this a bit, is so just, that environment that I grew up in, and just being, totally comfortable with money. And I know not everybody is. And so that's the two things, I think, at least two
Yeah.
things. It's like, it is true that it's very easy for me to see what people's natural gifts are. It's almost like a clairvoyance. And then helping them to
Mm-hmm.
find that way to be rewarded for it. And the one thing I've come to realize is that, even though, like, on the rewarded side, one of the things that I've noticed is that, like, I can see it like that, like, really. But what I've come to realize is that it is less important that I do, and more important that the other person finds it. And so, sometimes that takes a little bit of time, but just because I look at so many, I don't know what, like, things that needed to be solved in the world, problems to solve, and things that people want. Man, there's ways for everybody to be rewarded doing what they love. I mean, I'm just so sincere about that.
Thank you. Well, I mean, yes, it's important for the person to find it for themselves, and to have someone who thinks the way that you do, that actually can see, can be very healing and validating and affirming. Like, for example, I have a friend that passed away a few days ago, who was a world-class composer,
Mm.
A modern classical composer, and we were friends for years, and his ability to see me as an artist and reflect back to me, like really listening, and the level of nuance at which he would listen to my compositions and speak to specifically the things that I do, that my gift is, in terms of texture and complexity of melody and lyric. He was seeing me and holding me in a way that I wasn't getting from the world. And just having him, someone of his caliber, recognize me
Mm.
helped me to see
Mm.
myself.
Mm. I love that. I love that because you're kind of speaking a secret, and this is for you and for anybody that's listening too. Is to get around the people that are doing either what you want to do, or achieving at the level that you want to achieve at. And oftentimes that level is a higher level, right? Because if you have an
Hmm.
aspiration, that means there's other people that have already attained it, and to
Right.
get around them can be kind of uncomfortable at first. Like I remember when I first went to Toastmasters, and I thought I was a pretty good speaker. And I resisted going to Toastmasters for a long time because I was like, I don't need that, And I had already had been a paid speaker, in my field and everything. And I was like, I don't need that. And I went, and I immediately felt like, man, I am out of my league here, or you know what I mean? It was like a growing edge, and I felt very
Hmm.
uncomfortable. And it
Hmm.
was people also who were not hippies. This is another little
Right.
thing, because sometimes, where, let's say, we're called to, or we want to, get, achieve at another level, it might mean a group that's not our everyday. Like these folks were not hippies. In fact, this was in Colorado Springs, Colorado, so that meant there were a lot of, leaders from the military world, and I really respect those people because I've worked with a number of them now, and they're not what I was taught to think they are. Very intelligent. Many of them are very liberal minded. But anyways, I didn't feel comfortable at all around them, and they were really better at speaking than I was in many levels. So I felt very uncomfortable. But I stayed
Hmm.
with it, and so that's one of the keys. And I share that with you or anybody that's listening, because if we want to grow to a different level, it means we might need to get around, those people. And it's pretty inevitable that we're going to feel uncomfortable because they're where we would like to be. And I don't know about you, but I've always had a thing about a little comparison thing. And I know that's not good, but I do it. So,
Yes, as I'm listening to you, I'm remembering, when I was in college, we had to take a certain amount of credits of PE, and so I waited until intersession. Summer session was 6 weeks, and intersession was 3 weeks, and I had 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I had 2 hours of tennis followed by 2 hours of swimming, and I got all my PE that I needed
wow.
for the whole time in those 3 weeks, and or 6 weeks, excuse me. No, 3 weeks. And I remember the tennis instructor saying that you play up to your partner. So it's always better to play with somebody better than you
Yes.
to improve your game.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
mm,
And so even
yeah,
even the first tiny step is just to get around them, just to get around them,
hmm,
just to physically get
yeah,
into the environment.
yeah.
And
Right,
that
because
was that
you're
was enough
just
to
being
make me
in
comfortable.
the frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Well,
you said that you have an event tonight that you're going
yes, I
to in
gotta
Laguna that you wanted to
I
share
gotta
about.
jump here, yeah, because I'm going down to hang out with the Merkababes.
Say more about that for those who may
the
not know what you're talking
the
about.
Merkababes, it's a collective of all women healers, and they also have a crystal shop that's like blows my friggin' mind. And so there's a bunch of, healers, intuitives, and the class I'm going to tonight is an astrology class. And I do need to jump off here and head down to that. But anyways, yeah, man, yeah, it's so funny with me sometimes because I laugh. I have to laugh at myself because I did grow up in a hippie family, but there's always a certain part of myself that's like, I don't know if that stuff is for real. But I did hang out with these folks enough now. I'm like, man, that stuff is for real. Like working with
Whatever you believe, whatever you believe.
and you kind of do, because I've gone back to it a number of times, back to the shop, and the woman Carly, who she's the owner of it, and she's so committed to it, but and has incredible knowledge about like how the different minerals and crystals, how they interact with our beingness, and so it's the most incredible collection I've ever seen, and she's super knowledgeable about them, and so yeah, so I put myself in that place, and I did feel a little out of place, at first, but I'm with it now.
You and the babes. You got
Yes.
special dispensation to hang with the babes.
Yes, yeah, and they're
Very
like
cool.
angels. This little group of gals, and they're quite advanced in their whatever spiritual clarity. I guess that's part of what you probably have to do to be really good in that space.
Spiritual clarity. I love those two words together.
Yeah,
I'm going to write them down. Spiritual clarity.
yeah.
Yay. Well, go ahead.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I gotta jump here, otherwise I'm gonna be late. But
Okay,
I'm
well,
loving your
thank you
show.
so much.
Yeah, I'm loving the show.
Th
Keep it up. Keep it
Thank
up.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. You want to share a link in here for anybody who may want to reach out to you?
I don't think
Um,
I have a link to share, but what anybody could do, they'll see my my face or whatever, and then they can follow over and send me a chat message. And
okay.
all they got to do is send a chat message, say, hello, hey, I saw you on the show, and then we'll connect on that. And I am so happy to talk to people, an initial conversation, and talk about these things, about what their gifts are, and how to turn those into a stream of income, just doing what they love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Okay, Pensano. Pensano. Yeah.
Pensano. So for the French
It's
way.
French. Yeah, it's French Canadian. Yeah,
It's French.
French
Yep.
Canadian.
Does it mean something?
It does mean something, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Okay. Find out. Find out and let us know.
Okay. In the
All right.
next show.
Well,
Tune
Leah
in for the
said,
next show.
yes, to learn what pensano means.
Yes.
Leah said, I like the idea of a growing edge and really enjoying this conversation. So you got fans here on the call already.
So good.
Okay, thank you
So
so
good.
much.
All right.
Enjoy your class tonight. And I
You.
switched our appointment from tomorrow
I
to
saw that.
Friday.
I
Okay.
saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Blessings. Bye-bye. So fun. So fun. Yippee, this is so delicious. It's so beautiful to just drop in soul to soul with each of you and just feel my heart open to receive your wisdom and knowing and being a space, like holding the space, an invitation for your wisdom to come through you and to be expressed and be witnessed and heard. And it's so important for us to hold each other in the light and to create opportunities for one another to shine. And it's really my joy and pleasure to do that. And I see that beloved Baraka Betty Jacob has joined us. Welcome, my dear. And then what else do I have here? Uh, it's funny, the whole thing like jumps up. Oh, what did you say, Leah? I learned as a journalist that a person's name can be their most precious possession. So my apologies for the misspelling. I was just playing with you. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Nadine, welcome. Thoughtful. Is that like just a overall experience of the conversation, of Geo of what? I'm not sure, but if you feel to say more, please do. And the conversation with Geo made me think of my song, Big Big World. So we're going to go to that. Pick a better thought. Pick a better thought. Pick a better thought. Pick a better thought. Somewhere in a world of fear, there's a mama holding baby so near. Somewhere in a world of shame, there's a little boy just learning his name. Somewhere in a world of hate, there is so much more to celebrate. It's a big, big world out there. It's a big, big world out there. It's a big, big world out there. What is your attention on? Somewhere in a world of greed, there's a farmer who is planting a seed. Somewhere in a world of sin, there's an innocence that's living within. Somewhere in a world of loss, there's a wave of faith that's sweeping across. It's a big, big world out there. It's a big, big world out there. Yes, it's a big, big world out there. What is your attention on? What is your attention on? People are hungry, people are lonely, people are homeless too. Well-meaning folk who can't sleep at night lie tormented by what to do. 'Cause if you live by the news and you're stuck with the blues, sure that all that you view is true. Use the things that you see to give thanks that you're free, and remember your gratitude. There but by the grace of God go I. Gotta break the chain of pain and add a link to love. There is much more good out here than we've been conscious of. Wanna see a better world? Then focus is the key. For the thoughts we entertain, in truth, shall set us free. Pick a better thought. Pick a better thought. Pick a better thought. Pick a better thought. Somewhere in a world of pain, there are healing prayers falling like rain. Somewhere in a world at war, there's a dove of peace that's ready to soar. Somewhere in a world gone wrong, there's a child of God who's singing a song. It's a big, big world out there. It's a big, big world out there. Yes, it's a big, big world out there. What is your attention on? What is your attention on? What is your attention? What is your attention? What is your attention on? We have the power. We have the power within our own being, our own sovereign thought process to shift our consciousness and shift our experience. The Course in Miracles says that only the good is real. And that means that anything that is negative is an error. The word sin means mistake. It doesn't mean anyone has done anything wrong. It means that one is simply holding a mistake in their consciousness and giving energy to that. And whatever we put our attention upon expands. And so it behooves us to make it a priority to sit alone in our own energy, so we can't be projecting on anyone else and blaming anyone else for what we're thinking and what we're feeling, and really examine the quality of our thoughts. And if we notice that the thoughts that we're thinking are making us miserable, are making us frightened, are making us depressed, are making us ashamed, are making us feel sorry for ourselves, making us feel jealous of other people, we have work to do, because we have the capacity to turn our experience around, and it is purely by choosing to think better thoughts. And these are not spiritually bypassing. These are climbing the ladder an increment at a time of shifting ourselves out of a dark place. And that is why I suggest to you that the moment you can identify a dark thought where you are using your sacred I am power and miscreating what you don't want, instead of beating yourself up and staying in that loop, that you what is it that I can use my I am power to genuinely claim and not feel like I'm, BSing myself. And so I suggest that you start with being grateful for the sheer fact of your existence before you get into your circumstances, but simply for the fact that you're alive. Give me a second, because my cord fell out and it was saying I only have 14% left, but we're almost done. We got 5 minutes left. I see that Nadine said his name. So you're saying pensino, thoughtful, is pensive. It's like pensive. Is that what you're saying? That pensino means pensive is thoughtful. Well, that's very wonderful. I wonder if he knows that, or if he's still listening, but I'll tell him when I speak to him, so thank you. Joy. Hi, Joy. Welcome. I so loved singing with you last night. I'm so enjoying hearing you sing this. I'm singing along. Yay! Yay. Well, I not today, because I have to go. We have to go very soon. But please come back again. I would love to have you come on here. You are certainly a voice of global awakening with your consciousness and your story, the way that you have healed your brain and shifted the way you think and helped so many other people with that. It would be a gift to have you here. Bracha, love the words and, of course, your beautiful voice. Thank you. Leah, yay, Tess, pick a better thought. Nadine French. Cheryl, thank you. Cheryl, good night. Yes, so the only other thing I want to tell you all before we leave is that in addition to seeing you back here on Tuesday for episode number 6, we're going to keep this going as long as we can. And aside from the Tuesday nights, last Wednesday, I also launched a Wednesday evening on Zoom called the Wednesday Evening Wisdom Exchange. And for the time being, my experiment is to do that the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday of the month being an all-gender Wednesday Evening Wisdom Exchange. And the second Tuesday of the month, which will be next Thursday, the 13th, will be another Wednesday Evening Women's Empowerment Wisdom Exchange. So it's for all who identify with the feminine, regardless of what form you are inhabiting. And so the women's empowerment will be next Wednesday, the 13th, and the all gender will then be on the 27th. So look for some promotions about that. I was a little thrown off kilter in my promotions for this week because between preparing for a huge gathering and so many different transitions of so many different people, I was a bit overwhelmed and blindsided. And I'm not claiming to be perfect, and I'm not trying to present myself as more polished than I actually am. This is Tess, raw, live, the way I am right here, right now, good enough, and encouraging you to feel the same about yourselves and checking I got 1 minute left, so I simply want to thank you so much for being here. Do check out the description for all the different ways that we can engage with one another, and feel free to private message me with any thoughts or suggestions that you have. I love you all very, very much. You're so yummy too, Nadine. And what did you say, Joy? Sure, I was singing with you regardless. Yes, well, that is wonderful. And I do look forward to having you come on here and share your beauty with everybody. All right, are we complete? We are almost complete. I'm going to go for the full 7 o'clock. So again, you bless me with your presence. You bless me with your reflection. You bless me with your consciousness. You bless this whole world. And you are a gift. And whether you know it yet or not, I'm going to keep telling you until you believe me. And that's part of my joy. So mahalo, and I will see you soon.